The order of operations is the order in which you perform the mathematical operations that are presented in any expression or equation. So, they go in this order. You start with the parentheses. You look to see if there are any parentheses or grouping in an equation or an expression. Then you look to see if there are any exponents. And you do these first. You perform these first. Next, you look to see if there are any exponents. If there are, this is the second operation that needs to take place. Then you get down to the 4 standard operations. There's multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. Multiplication and division come next in the order of operations. Now, multiplication does not take precedence over division. In other words, multiplication does not necessarily come first. They are equally important. What you decide is what decides whether or not you're going to do the division problem or the multiplication problem first is how they're presented left to right in the expression. Left you do first as you're working your way right in the problem. Just like if you're reading. You read from left to right, the math comes from left to right also. The same goes for addition and subtraction, which come after multiplication and division. That's step 4. Again, left to right. It could be subtraction first, it could be addition first, but they go from left to right. So, there is a standard order for performing operations. Changing the order of operations will impact the outcome or changes the answer. If you don't do it in the correct order, you might get the wrong answer. In fact, you probably will get the wrong answer. You must do it from in this order: grouping, exponents, multiplication and division, either one depending on which one's the most left. Addition, subtraction, again, depending on which one's most left. So here's an example of an expression. So we look to see all the operations we have going on here. Well, we do have a grouping here because of these parentheses. Therefore, we do the grouping portion first. But within the grouping portion, we notice that there's also an exponent. So now we have to do the exponent. So 3 cubed, or 3 times 3 times 3, equals 27. So that was the first one. That's why I highlighted it. Everything else gets rewritten as we move down. So 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. Now we get to do the complete the operation within the grouping parentheses. So 27 minus 7 is 20. Bring everything down again. Now we look to see which operation comes next. We have both a multiplication and a division problem. We're doing multiplication first because it's more left than the division. So 27 minus 7 is 20. So now we get to do 4 times 5. That's why it's highlighted. Move the whole thing down again. 4 times 5 is 20 plus 20 divided by 2. Now we're going to do division because that comes before addition. So 20 divided by 2 is 10. 20 plus 10 is 30. That would be the order of the operations for this expression. There's a way you can remember this, a mnemonic device. PEMDAS. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. That helps you remember this order. Or if your teacher prefers a G instead of the P for the grouping, it's graciously excuse my dear Aunt Sally. And you remember it as GEMDAS. Now we're going to do this, set up this page in our notebook. so that we can refer to it throughout the year, because we keep coming back to order of operations throughout the year. All right, here we have some expressions. Oh, actually, these are equations because they do have an equal sign at the end. In problems 1 through 5, solve the equation using the order of operations and show your work. Okay, so according to order of operations, I'm going to write myself a little note over here. Let's do it over here. P, E, M, D, and we don't know which one's going to come first. It could go either way. And then A, S, again, could go either way, just whichever one is most left in the equation. Okay, so first I look for parentheses. I don't have any. Now I'm going to look for exponents. Again, I don't have any. So now I'm going to look to see if there's any multiplication or division. Oh, look at that. There is. So, and there is no multiplication. So this is the first operation I'm going to do. 16 divided by 4 is 4. And I bring down that 24 minus 4. 24. Now I look to see what I have. I have subtraction. 24 minus 4 is 20. So my answer is 20. All right, let's take a look at number 2. I have grouping, but I don't have exponents, so I don't have to worry about exponents for now. All right, so I have 25 minus 1 in a group and 3 times 2 in a group. So we'll do the first group first. So 25 minus 1 is 24 divided by 3 times 2. Bring everything down. Now I'm going to do this group. So I bring down the 24 divided by, and 3 times 2 is 6. 24 divided by 6 is 4. Let's skip along. Try to do number 3 and number 4. Let's do number 4, and I'll let you do number 3 and number 5 on your own. All right, so I look in here, and look, I have brackets outside, and so I have 2 sets of grouping in this problem, don't I? I have a grouping right here and a greater grouping right here. So you do the innermost grouping first. So 3 plus 7 is 10 times 2. I have to keep that times 2 minus 1 plus 9. Now I work from left to right because I have 2 groupings. So 10 times 2 is 20 minus 1 plus 9. Now I've got a grouping to finish up. I have a 10. 20 minus 10 is 10. All right, give number 3 and number 5 a try on your own. Let's take a look at, pardon me, number 6. In problems 6 through 9, insert parentheses, brackets, and or braces to make each equation true. All right, we have 1 plus 9 times 4 equals 40. All right, so if I put some parentheses right here, I end up with 1 plus 36 equals 40. 37 equals 40. Nope, that didn't work. Okay, can erase and try again. Let's try putting parentheses there. Now I have 10 times 4 equals 40. 40 equals 40. That one works. So I can leave it. Let's try 12 plus 2 is 14. We want to end up with 3. So, well, just to start, let's try this. Let's do 2 sets. And if it's wrong, we erase and try again. Okay, so we have 14 minus 8 plus 3 is 11. Oops, I did it on the first one. This is true. So let's make it a little darker so the teacher can see it. There you go, and so on. Go ahead and give number 8 and number 9 a try. Okay, and for number 10, we're going to write an equation that means multiply 6 by the sum of 3 and 2. So the sum of 3 and 2 tells us that we're going to have parentheses 3 plus 2. Multiply 6 by that sum, 6 times the sum 3 plus 2. That's how I would do that. All right, on the back side of this page, we have the same discipline. We're going to keep doing order of operations. In problems 1 through 6, solve the equation using the order of operations. Show your work. Okay, so we'll just do a couple of examples here. So again, 8 plus 16 divided by 2. I'm going to write myself my little note so I remember what comes first. All right, so I don't have parentheses, I don't have exponents, but I do have division. So division is going to be my first operation. So I have 8 plus 16 divided by 2 is 8, which equals 16. Okay, I'm going to skip along to one that's a little more difficult down here. Yeah, let's do this one next. We have 2 things going on inside these parentheses, inside our grouping. So inside the grouping, we have to decide which one comes first. Does subtraction come before multiplication? No, multiplication would come first. So this is our first operation. All right, now we can do this. 16 minus 8 is 8. 24 divided by 8 is 3. Okay, moving along, let's try this one. Now we have brackets again outside of parentheses, so a double grouping. So you do the most inside grouping first. All right, so we have 6 minus 2 is 4 times 3. Get those back in the brackets. Now within the brackets, we have 4 times 3 is 12. 18 minus 12 is 6. Okay, give these other 3 a try. In problems 7 through 10, insert parentheses, brackets, and or braces to make each equation true. So, let's start with this one. Let's go with, let's try just a pair of parentheses there. So 8 minus 8 is 0 times 2 plus 3 equals 0. I end up with, I do multiplication next. So 0 times 2 is 0 plus 3 equals 0. 3 equals 0. Nope, that one did not work. I'm going to be erasing and trying again. Okay, let's try 2 sets this time. So I end up with 0 times 2 plus 3 equals 0. 0 times 6 equals 0. 0 equals 0. That one worked. So I'm going to put these in a little more dark so the teacher can see I meant it. Okay, let's try number 10. 5 plus 4 minus 5 plus 3 times 8 divided by 2 equals 4. Okay, so let's try putting groupings around these and see what happens. So I end up with, let's see, this is 9 minus 8 times 8, whoops, and 4 times 4 equals 4. I end up with 9 minus 8 is 1 times 4 equals 4. Look at that, it worked out on the first try. Okay, that's not always going to happen. Okay, so give the other two a try. We'll go over them together. All right, finally, for the following problem, use grouping symbols to write an equation that represents the situation, then solve the problem. Carly made a photo book. She put 9 pictures on each page. Okay, so she's got a photo book. I need to draw a little picture so I understand what's going on here. And she's putting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pictures on a page. All right. She's filled 6 pages with the picture of her trip to Fort Lauderdale and 4 pages with her trip to Las Vegas. Okay, so she has 6 of these for Fort Lauderdale, and then she has 4 of these pages with her trip to Las Vegas. How many pictures? Okay, so we need to know how many pictures total. So we know it's 9, so we know we have 9 on every page, 9 per page. Well, that would mean multiplication. So I know I'm going to be multiplying something by 9. I have 6 pages of Fort Lauderdale. I have 4 pages of Las Vegas. So 6 pages of Fort Lauderdale plus 4 more pages of Las Vegas. Okay, 9 times 10. So she has 90 photos that she took of her 2 trips. Whoops, get you on the page. There you go. All right. We'll meet together in class.